So, Warrior Cats released a new graphic novel this past Tuesday, Exile from ShadowClan, surrounding Nightpelt and the ShadowClan cats who suffered under Brokenstar's rule. And in typical Warrior Cats fashion, we got a lot of replaying events that we already know about without much divergence. If you've read Into the Wild and Yellowfang's Secret, then congratulations, you know this story. The dialogue, perspective, and some of the ways the characters act vary, but don't expect any groundbreaking revelations. Thankfully, James Barrie's artwork is amazing as always, if we forgive the horde of mustache cats. And there are a couple characters who get their first chance to shine. Most notably, we get major development to Volpaw's character, who was previously a nobody. But you know what this graphic novel doesn't do? It doesn't do anything to fix the massive problem that is Brokenstar, and the question of why StarClan or ShadowClan didn't do or say anything to stop him from taking up the role of ShadowClan's leader. Running Nose says StarClan didn't even say anything to him? What? StarClan is notorious for never shutting up. Does that go away the second it's regarding a medicine cat who isn't a main character? And even more confusing is the statement that StarClan was forced to make Brokenstar leader because they supposedly can't choose leaders, even though the previous graphic novel was about a situation where StarClan quite certainly chose a leader by killing the other candidate with a tree. And the previous main series book insisted that a sign from StarClan was necessary for RiverClan to know for certain if a cat could be made leader, and most books in the existence of Warrior Cats emphasize that StarClan is effectively approving a leader when granting 9 lives, so Ragged Star is spitting nonsense. This is a prime example of the story team having written themselves into a corner. What once worked in the story simply got contradicted the more they changed the lore. Brokenstar, and to an extent Tigerstar as well, being granted 9 lives in the original story arc can make some level of sense. Because, at the time, ShadowClan was considered far more evil than it is post-Yellowfang's Secret. We could assume there was enough grubby ShadowClan ancestors that would look past the flaws of those cats and accept them as leader in hopes of power or revenge against the other clans. But as Warrior Cats progressed more and more, the writing team really did away with the idea that a whole clan could be evil, and changed it so only a certain handful of cats could be evil at the absolute maximum, which makes for a more complex narrative, but when retroactively enforced upon the original ShadowClan characters, it just stops making sense entirely. In the original book, it really feels like ThunderClan taking action is the only reason a stand is being made against Brokenstar. And in this book, it's the same, but there are so many more cats in ShadowClan visibly opposing him to the point it makes so much less sense. Even his most loyal of supporters seem completely uncertain a lot of the time. The ruthless Spotted Leaf killer Clawface even has his moment of faltering loyalty in order to make sure that Volpaw is safe. Like, this is supposed to be the same ShadowClan that lets Blackfoot and his buddies back in despite their crimes because they want to return to their former glory and dominate like they did in the past. But what they've done instead is have so many morally pure and innocent ShadowClan cats that they've become unrecognizable from First Arc ShadowClan. Nightpelt himself is unrecognizable. He's all like, I don't know about taking Wind Clan territory. There should always be 4 clans, yada yada. When, in Fire and Ice, he's largely in favor of Wind Clan being gone for good, and even organizes war against them. He's an angry boy, not a sensitive guy concerned with nurturing others. He trained Brokenpaw when he was an apprentice, and all he has to say on that was, oh, I must have taught you nothing. But if the authors actually decided to work with Fire and Ice Nightstar, he could have totally had a bad influence on Brokenpaw. But no, Yellowfang's Secret introduced the Brokenstar was evil from birth plot thread, where for some reason the clan's banishing SkyClan, a plot point that didn't even exist in the original books, is the sole reason for every bit of evil inside Brokenstar, for no reason at all. They don't even mention SkyClan by name in that book. They just didn't want a single fragment of an idea that Yellowfang or any ShadowClan cats held even the smallest of responsibility for the monster Brokenstar became, when a lot of ShadowClan agreed with what Brokenstar did in the original book. It takes more than a single cat to turn an entire clan into training kits for battle and driving out Wind Clan. But in this book, any comment made in favor of Brokenstar is shrouded in insecurity for some reason, and cats are constantly forced to use the "but he's our leader" defense to explain why they go along with anything he says. I guess they could be scared of Broken Star, but that doesn't explain why in the original books they were still heavily antagonistic after Broken Star left. But here they're all happy-go-lucky the day after he's gone. Like, hey, Bright Flower, you just found out yesterday that the cat you looked up to brutally murdered your newborn kits because he thought they were too weak to deserve a chance at life. There's gotta be some trauma there, but she looks just as chill as everyone else. The book is trying too hard to be feel-good and inspirational, despite the incredibly dark tone of it all, something Warrior Cats in general has a lot of trouble with. And with this forceful, find the good in everyone level of storytelling, we get all these sweet ShadowClan cats who are simply victims overcoming Broken Star's cruelty. Because StarClan forbid we have irredeemable characters every once in a while. Aside from Clawface and Blackfoot, who are not nearly the size of the patrols we see, we never get any deliberate support of Broken Star that could prove in any way how he was able to cause as much damage as he did. If ShadowClan really was as heroic and pure as the resolution of the book would have us believe, some cat would have at least spoken up for Yellowfang and Nightcloud when they wanted to help Poolcloud, who was literally dying, and the sheer amount of kit deaths that happened under Broken Star's rule would have turned cats against him far sooner. Between StarClan and ShadowClan's support, the only explanation for Broken Star achieving what he did would have been far more than a couple evil cats among those groups. But this graphic novel just refuses to commit to taking the means necessary to reach that. If you're going to write a book so dark as to include the murder of innocent kits, kits being trained for and sent into battle, and cats being starved from not being taught how to hunt, why are you so hesitant to include more evil characters? These ShadowClan cats are simultaneously extremely passive in obeying Broken Star's orders, and extremely aggressive in carrying them out. This combination could only really be met by cats who genuinely believed in what Broken Star did and were numb to the effects of it, and to some level, actually evil. But no, every cat who shows support to Broken Star ends up only being described as misled and confused. Even the two cats I mentioned were evil enough, Blackfoot and Clawface, are still characterized as misled at certain points. Clawface, as I said, has his role in saving Bullpaw from Broken Star's camp in a way that suggests he is kind deep down, despite, his awful crimes. Something similar happens to Blackfoot, but not in this book. It was in the Blackfoot's Reckoning novella, which I have covered in the past. Basically just 10 chapters of him saying how sorry he is over and over again. And to be completely clear, I have no problem with characters being morally grey. If that was the direction the books were taking, I would give them a big thumbs up. But that's not what they're doing. What they're doing is taking the original direction of characters who were morally evil, and then going back and changing them to be morally grey, so they can make the stories less dark or, in the case of Black Star, portray a popular character in a way that tiptoes around anything that has even the smallest chance of insulting the reader for liking them. They made Broken Star pure evil, so why can't they make his accomplices evil? And why can't they give StarClan a touch of that evil? Or at least make them careless or incompetent, rather than simply saying it was out of their control? So much of what made ShadowClan work in the original books was the fact that they allowed the characters to be evil so the story could have villains. But all Yellowfang's secret, and now this new novella, want to do is contradict it to tell mediocre stories about cats who are misunderstood. And that's pretty dumb. Alright, bye everyone.